So right now, this is Tony's game. Like, what is going on? Three immunities in a row. He's got an idol in pocket, and he managed to flip the vote at tribal council. Like, how crazy is that? I think that for Tony and his side, this was really the only move today. I don't think that Kim long term was the biggest threat to Tony and Sarah and Ben and Jeremy and whoever else voted with them, but she was a number that was never going to be with them. And it was very interesting to see all of that play out. All right, so let's rewind to this back to the start of the episode. So we're still having the fallout of Tony blindsiding Sophie. We saw Sarah was absolutely livid with Tony, and basically said, like, if this blows up in my face, we're done. We're not friends in the game. We're not friends out of the game. We are done. You could see Ben and Jeremy, they're just into this stalemate, which was, when as a viewer, very bizarre, because like we understand that, Ben and Jeremy, they don't have a choice. They have to work together if they want a chance to win. If Ben or Jeremy goes with Michelle, Denise, Nick, and Kim, then they are done. It's game over for them. But that is not what happens. And like, I'd honestly, I would love to see who voted who at Tribal. I would love to know, because I really just don't know who the votes were. Like, did Nick flip at the end? He must have. Like, I really don't know. This has been a wild season, and without anyone really being able to solidify an alliance, like, there's just no trust between the players. Everyone has played, most have played multiple times, everyone has won, and they all are just paranoid that the person that they're talking to, the person they're trusting, is lining up something to stab them in the back. Just wild. I'm absolutely loving this season. And, we're never going to see another season of Survivor quite like this one. And it's just making for great television. So what else happened this episode? We saw Spymaster Tony. That wasn't as great as we all were hoping. He was up in the tree. He had his little thing of branches to cover his face. He was pretty camoed in there. He did a pretty good job, but no actual spying happened, and just more of Tony's craziness to make this season even better. On Edge of Extinction, we had another endurance challenge where the first six people to win or to finish the endurance challenge all received 2 fire tokens. So a lot of fire tokens are in play on Edge of Extinction, and it's going to be really interesting when they actually do their battle back, and like whoever comes back to the game, just to see like what they infuse into that economy and how all that changes. I'm going to assume that we have the battle back next week. Next week is supposed to be a 2-hour episode. We're down to 7 players now. That 8th player would really shake things up again, especially if it ends up being somebody like Natalie or Yule, like somebody who really just didn't get a chance to play their game and could really impact what happens. I mean, it's also interesting if somebody like Sophie or Kim, like a recent person to get sent to Edge of Extinction, comes back with those fresh wounds, and like doesn't really even matter who comes back. It just instantly changes that dynamic so much, and it's we'll throw the game for another loop. Immunity challenge today. We had 2 winners. It was an endurance, who can keep their arm in the air for the longest, and it was crazy. Jeff brought the bribe out, said, "Hey, you want some milk and cookies? Jump off and you can have it." And we saw two women and a man jump down, giving the victories to Denise and Tony. Like, they didn't even have to battle it out. Everybody else just left. They all just left. So yeah, you can win. Give Tony his third immunity in a row and which was really weird because Nick was one of the people working to blindside Tony, and he gives Tony the immunity idol. And on top of that, I'm suspecting that he was one of the votes who flipped to knock Kim out. So very interesting, and it's going to be a wild end to the season. I'm loving this season. Can't say that enough. Tony has become my favorite. Like, he's just entertaining the whole episode. Like, they could just have the camera on him 24/7 and it would be just as entertaining as everything else that is involved in the show. But okay, that's going to wrap up. I was a little rambly today. Just so many thoughts going through my head. And yeah, that's it. So, lesson for all you Survivor players out there: the person who starts that talk of doing the big blind side is the person who goes home. See ya, Kim. Enjoy Edge of Extinction. And everybody else, I will see you next week.